Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Cupcake Empire. Let's check it out. To set up the game, each player will get their own little player board. They'll put their little cubes on the 2 on the production track and 1 on the income track. You can see because they are shaded in white. Your third cube will go right up here on the bright ideas track in the green square area. You will have 4 extra discs. These are for the bonuses that you can get in the game. There's a piles of A, B, C, and D. I just took one from each and then you flip it over. And these are different bonuses you can get in the game. Of course, the instructions will tell you what those goals are. And then anytime you finished one of those or achieved one of those, you would put your token on it to show you've achieved it and you can't score it again during the game. You will have little cupcake shops here that are kind of cool to look at. You'll be placing those on these neighborhoods here. And then of course you have bakeries as well. You'll have one set up in the first neighborhood here, but after that you'll have 2 other ones you can put out anywhere in these other neighborhoods if given the opportunity. You will also be shuffling through all these little meeples here and putting them out into their neighborhoods, neighborhood 1 through 4 there. And then some player will start with this first player token because it's got a lot of nice looking cupcakes under glass. Each player will also get a little player aid here. I'll talk more about this later. And what you're going to do is you're going to have a little round robin at the beginning of the game. First off, you're going to shuffle a bunch of improvement tokens here and then give one out to each player. There should be one of each different type, so someone won't start with the same, 2 players won't start with the same upgrade there. And then they will put it anywhere on their board that they want to, where you see the circle indentation there. Now also they're going to do kind of a little draft here, starting with the first player and moving all around to the 4th player and then going backwards, meaning 4th player will choose back to back. They'll either be choosing an icing top or a base. Now in my experience they're usually going to be choosing an icing going around. You have the 4 different base icings to choose from: chocolate, strawberry, lemon, and mint. And then you have 2 base cupcakes to choose from: chocolate and vanilla. So they'll be picking one of each, and at the end they'll be able to make their own little individual cupcake. Why they start with 1 on the income track is because you already have a bakery here, and as you see there is a 1 on here which shows income. So whenever you're placing people out here, you see that red marker there, that means you're going to go up on the income track. And then whenever you build cupcakes, you will also be going up on production. So 1 if it's a base or a regular icing, 2 if it's a mix of either of those. And I'll go in more into this in a minute. After you've gotten that all taken care of, each player is going to take some dice. They'll get 1 dice of each color: a purple, a yellow, an orange, a green, a pink, and 3 gray. And then they're going to roll, and this is how they're going to start the game off. And as they roll, they're going to put all of these die in the areas in the columns where matching that number. Now if you have rolled a 6 on your first the beginning of the game, you will just re-roll that into something else and place it down there. So that'd be what my board would look like starting off. Now what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking an action on any of these rows and then rolling those die and then redistributing them out after you've taken that action. So what does each action here do? Well, let me tell you. First off, column 1, this is how you can get base cupcakes. If I had enough 1s to cover here, so meaning if purple was there, then I could get a base cupcake. If I had dice going down to here, I could get a mixed base, meaning there's chocolate and vanilla there. Or if I was at the very bottom, if I had 1s across the row, I could get 1 of each. I could get a mix and then either another cupcake of base chocolate or vanilla. Again, why is this important? Well, that's going to up my production, which is very good. I want that. I want my production moving up and my income as well. Now, Row 2 is for icings. Same thing, if I had 3 dice up to here, I could get a regular icing, any one of these that I choose. Or if I moved up even further, I could get one of these icing mixes. The old, there's a mint lemon, and my favorite here, yeah, chocolate lemon, said no one ever. But anyway, you can get one of these mix bases, and of course attach it to one of your cupcake bases to make a cupcake. And of course, whenever you're making cupcakes, again, your production is going to go up, which is very good. In the orange track, this is for 3s here. What you would do is if you had enough dice to get up here, this is how you can plant one of your little cupcake stores. And if you make it to this, if you have enough dice to make it up to here, then you can plant one cupcake store in any of these yellow neighborhoods. If you get down further, you can plant a cupcake store in one of these peach neighborhoods. And of course, you get to the bottom, you can do both, one of each. Now, what do these do? Well, 2 things. A, they increase your sales by 1. So every time you plant one out there, you're going up the sales track marker. And on top of that, whenever you plant in any of these neighborhoods, that means you may also sell in those neighborhoods. Now at the beginning, every player is going to have a bakery in the first box here. And so they can all sell to these customers. But if you want to sell to these customers out here, you must have a cupcake factory or a bakery out there in order to sell to those customers out there. And so this is how you would get those little cupcake stores opened up. Now the one thing about this is you can get bumped out of this. So like in a 4-player game, if there's one of each color and another player decided they wanted to bump out one of them, they could bump out black, let him go down on the income track, and then whatever color it is, let's say it is white, would move on in and they'd move up on the income track instead. So you can get bumped from that. Bakeries though are permanent. Once you place a bakery, it cannot be bumped. Speaking of, let's go to selling these cupcakes. Anyone can sell on a value of 1, which is meaning anyone can sell to this top customer out here. Now, these customers, according to the rule book, there's a rule in town, they have to dress according to the cupcakes they like. So this guy likes a vanilla base and a chocolate top. This person here likes a chocolate base and a strawberry top. So if I had something like this for that one, it had a mix of strawberry and chocolate, that would help both customers because they like both of each. So that's kind of what you're kind of doing. You're trying to match the cupcakes that you're making in your store to the customer's taste. And when you do that, of course, the number of 4s you have lined up here would matter. So if up here I had 3 4s, I could reach to a number 2. So I don't have to sell to a number 1, I could sell to a number 2. Or if I had dice down to here, I could sell to a 3 up or 4 up. As you can probably tell, the higher you go, the more income you're generating by selling to that customer, and you can also get some extra bonus as well. So your income track's moving up and you'll get some bonus cash. I should also mention that everyone's cash marker starts right here at the 5, and I'll explain why in a minute. Now I want to point out something special about this 4 column here. Because I have a green 4, and this is green here, if ever you have a purple 1, a yellow 2, a orange 3, or a pink 5, you get what's called a bonus jump in the track. You can go out actually up to this goes to 2. It would actually, because I have a green here, go to the next action. So I could actually sell to a number 3 neighborhood even farther up the track and get more sales if I wanted to. And that's only if you have the color of that particular number in that row would you get to skip it. So for instance, if this is all I had, if I just had the 4 there, I could still take advantage of that because he can always take advantage of the next available action. And here, since we've already reached that, the next available action would be up there. And again, if I had 2 4s here, the next available action would be up there. So if you have dice of that color in that row, that's really going to help you out and improve on your actions for that round. And then in the 5 here, well, of course, I can't do anything because I haven't reached up in here yet. But eventually, if I start rolling, getting more 5s in here, if I get 1 here, I get to pick another die of any color. So I can pick a die of any color except for pink. I don't know why they even show the color pink in there because there's only 4 pink die in the game, but you can't get pink. Pink's kind of like the wild card too. So I mean, this one would actually count for 2 actions, in fact. So you would actually get to sell a 4 because pink is a wild for any of these. It can count for any of them. So you can get any other color die but pink. Here you can get any color die, plus you can get one of these improvements. Let me talk about these little improvements. These are little improvements that you put on your little circles. The only rule is you cannot have the same one in the same column. So for instance, let's say, and let's move these actually over here. Let's say I was to take advantage of 4. What would this help me do? Well, I could get a plain icing and a plain, a single serve icing or in a single cupcake. So I can make let's say I made a strawberry vanilla there. All right, so I got strawberry vanilla, and because I have these two 4s, I can sell to unit 4. And let's say maybe I have a sales hut right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, this guy wants vanilla and strawberry, so I could sell to him just like that. So these bonus actions can give you stuff. Also, because I made an extra cupcake with base flavors, I would go up on 2 production. Now, the reason I keep talking about the production and the sales track is the lower of these 2 numbers is how much money you would make when you sold the cupcake. So if I did sell the cupcake to, let's say, that guy way out there, well, first off, there's a little number by this. I would automatically get 5 income. So boom, like that, just for selling it there. I go up 3 on my sales track, 1, 2, 3, and I would also make the money would be the lower of these 2 tracks, which right now is the production track. So I made 4 coins. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically how you're going to sell your cupcakes. So as you're moving up these tracks, those cupcakes could be selling for more and more. For instance, if I was like this one's at what? 17, this is at 13. Every time I sell a cupcake now, I'm getting $13. So you definitely want to move these tracks up and kind of keep them balanced as well, so you can get paid the most for your cupcakes. Anyway, those are improvements there. Down here, you would get an improvement and get to set up a bakery in one of the yellow neighborhoods. Remember, once it's in there, you would go up 1 on the production and 1 on the sales track, and it's permanent, meaning no one can bump you from that. And then, of course, the last one here says, hey, you can put up a bakery in this peach column and then activate any row you want minus the bonus points here. So if I had, all 5s up here, then I could cash all these in, put a bakery into the peach section there, go up 2 on each of the markers there, and then I could activate, let's say, this row, but I couldn't count these bonuses. I could just sell a cupcake to a customer there. Now, here are other improvements you can have. This is setting up a little cupcake store in a yellow neighborhood. This one is getting just 3, victory points, or basically coin. This is moving at the Bright Idea track, which I'll talk about in a minute, and this one's selling to a number 2 neighborhood. But anyway, once you were to activate, let's say I activated row 4, again, I'd re-roll these die, and then separate them out, put the 5 there, put the 2 here, and this is a 6. Now when you roll a 6, first off, you had to put it over here in that little postcard area where the palm trees are. But for rolling that 6, you get what's called a bright idea. Now if you rolled any other 6s, let's say I had rolled 2 other 6s, okay, on that turn. Well, I got a bright idea for the first one. The other 2, I would just move around the track. 1, 2, like that. Now, the rules state that every player gets to move 2 around the track because you rolled 6s. I really don't know what I think about that rule. I'll get that in my final thoughts of the game. But it says all players. They don't get this action, but this one, if you roll 2 6s, everyone gets to move around the track as well as you. So I don't know why they take advantage of your misfortune here. I say misfortune because when you roll 6s, they are essentially out of the game. They stay there and locked in place until you do one of 2 things. A, you can spend money to unlock die. So if I spent 1, 2, 3 coins, 1, 2, 3, I could unlock all these and re-roll them back into my area board. Or for the cost of using this bright idea, I could release all 3 at once from the board, from the area there, and re-roll them and put them back in my game. That's one of the things that a bright idea can do. What else can it do for you? Well, again, this player aid comes in handy and tells you, hey, you can cash it in and get an improvement. One of these improvements on your rows here, kind of make your board, or kind of engine building is kind of what it is there. Or you can use a bright idea to shift a die from one row to the next. So for instance, let's say I had the board looking something like this, and I really wanted to sell that 3 neighborhood, but because I don't have a green here, I can't do it. Well, for the cost of a bright idea, I can cash it in and move this 5 over here to become a 4, and because it's pink, I can also do the bonus action there too, or do that action there. So that's what something you can also do for a bright idea. Now, other things that you can do, you can give up 2 coins, which is victory points, to grab a bright idea. So I can go down 1, 2 and grab a bright idea, or I can lose 3 points and shift that die, which is what I told you about earlier, if I want to do that. So you can use your money, your victory points, to do certain things that the bright idea does for free, which is why you start at 5 and not at 0. After that, of course, you'd re-roll and keep going on. Each player would be playing. Oh, by the way, whenever you hit on this bright idea track, if ever you get back around to the green space, you would indeed get another bright idea. So you'll be gathering bright ideas, scoring these bonus tokens, buying customers, putting them on your board, going up on your sales and production track, and the winner is the person who hits 70 first. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? I think I'm the only person who's ever done a video review of this. It's kind of weird. People have done videos talking about it, but not really showing it off that much, and there's maybe one demo video out there that really doesn't explain it that well. So I had to look up the instructions myself, read it all the way through and think, okay, I'll check it out. My wife gave me a gift card, so went ahead and purchased it because it is kind of expensive, which I'll get to in my final thoughts later on. But the gameplay, it's interesting. It's an interesting game. I love the theme. I love the theme. There's not many cupcake making games, and my sister owns a bakery, so I was like, oh, this seems kind of fun. So I did pick it up. I do like the interesting gameplay where you're activating a row, then re-rolling it, and then dispersing those die, and then activating a different roll. That's really nice. How you're balancing your production and sales track is really neat, but let it be known, folks, this is a race game. You're racing to cobble together as many cupcakes as you can because you got to sell them immediately. And I mean, you're just looking down the board on where you need to place your sales rack because what cupcakes you have, I need to make more for that whole row so I can just start cleaning it out. And you got to get your ducks in a row. Someone who knows how to play this game will leave everyone else out in the dust. The first time we played, I figured it out quickly, and I took just about every customer off the board because everyone was trying to get all their cupcakes. They wanted to get every different cupcake so that any customer they could reach, they could buy immediately from. Where me, I was just like slapping together whatever cupcakes I could get and seeing who was out there who wanted them. I mean, I had a totally different strategy, but I was going out there just killing it in points, and I wrapped around the board before they could even get around the, maybe 30 points. That's what number 2 had. I had 70 to his 30. So there could be a runaway leader problem if someone knows what they're doing and no one else does. You can really have a big lead over that. Other than that, though, the game is really nice. Now, this game isn't I don't know if it's in print. I know it's not in the US, so you have to pay a little bit extra to get it. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's up to you. If you like the theme, the gameplay is there. It is strong. The only thing about the runaway leader is if it doesn't click with someone, they're just not going to win. But of course, I have the same complaint with Homesteaders. I do not understand that game. I get left. I am dead last. We don't even count my points at the end because I just don't get it. But the only reason I still have it is because my gaming crew loves it. This is the exact opposite. This is one that I can beat them with. Will they play it? Yeah, I guess so because they enjoy the theme, but they still have a problem saying, oh, I want to get this. I want to build up this. I want to build up this. Yeah, I don't have time to build up, building up improvements on your rows too. You can really get the good improvements, like I put icing on my cupcake row and cupcakes on my icing row. Duh, right? So you can immediately make a cupcake just like that. Other players weren't thinking like that, and they were trying to get the 3 victory points here, or I can sell something to them there, but you never used it. You got to set them up to where you can use it. I love it. I think there's a lot of good strategy here, but again, I cannot recommend it because there's not a big wide release for this. It's not available in the US, and it is slightly too expensive right now online from what I've seen prices secondhand. Anyway, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.